a business analyst, over analyzing everything in her life, an introvert who has spent 95% of her lifetime so far in trying to be happy by pretending to be an extrovert. Now she is on a journey of self love and peace by accepting who she really is. Do you connect with that story? We are talking about our seventh everyday game changer, Sama Dacholkar. And before we invite her to the series today, a little bit about what is Let's Be in There series. It is a platform where people like you and I come and share our stories, our journeys, our struggles, how we have overcome them, and what are the small things that we are doing on everyday basis to move towards a journey of success. What happens for you is that you realize that you are not alone in this journey and you are in a community, that we all are together facing different kind of struggles, and you get to learn from our everyday game changer on everyday basis. And with that, let's invite our seventh everyday game changer, Sama Dacholkar. And here she is. Hi Sama, I think the invite has been sent to you. Invite. Are you able to join? View and go live with Sama Dacholkar. Hi Sama,
Hi,
how are
Kang.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I absolutely love what is in your background, the trees, and it's
Yeah,
it's
that's why I
beautiful.
picked it.
Perfect, perfect. So Sama, I have given a little bit just about you to people,
Yeah.
and but what we would like to hear from you. What would you like to say about yourself?
Okay, so professionally, I'm a business analyst working currently with Quantify. I've pursued a master's in the same domain. Personally, I would say I'm a person who is always trying too hard to be happy or productive. And when I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, it kind of bothers me. So also very recently I've discovered that I'm actually an introvert and not an extrovert like you said. So that's basically the whole tagline today.
Mm-hmm.
However, yeah, that's it from my side. I think we can chat a bit more about that later on.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
also like to know at what point or how did you realize that you are actually an introvert? You can share that now as well if you like.
Okay, so basically what had happened was it was just one of the times when I was walking with my cousin when I'd gone to visit,
Mm-hmm.
and she is actually a trained psychologist. So I was just sharing because I was overwhelmed, and she was like, "Yeah, that's because you're an introvert," and I was a
Mm-hmm.
bit like, "No, I'm not, because I'm too loud and I'm always talking, so that just doesn't make sense." But yeah, that's when it kind of hit me, and then I thought about it and I kind of agreed that, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's true. I
Mm-hmm.
am an introvert
You,
as
you
opposed to
believe,
what I've been thinking.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you believe that you are an introvert now when it was pointed out to you that maybe you are an introvert.
Yeah, it
How
made a
it
lot more sense. Yeah.
makes a lot more sense. Hmm.
Yeah.
How is the thought settling with you?
I really don't mind it because I think it is far more comforting than trying to fit into spaces that are not for me. So I guess it's a bit more comforting than trying to be an extrovert. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just so comforting once you realize what exactly it is. So you are kind of, like you've already mentioned, you are on a journey of self-love by accepting yourself. So this
Yeah.
kind of is the first way, the first step that you've taken by accepting that you are an introvert. And it's beautiful to know that you're finding comfort in it already. That's
Right.
lovely. So, with that, having accepted this, it seems like there might be a lot of challenges that you face in your life. So, what are the everyday challenges that you face?
So I wouldn't say I face challenges every day or I face the same challenges every day. It comes on and off. Like some days I'm really happy and people get annoyed because of it. And some days I feel like pure shit. So there's no way to say which way it's going today. However, to pinpoint, I would say A major challenge that I've faced in my life is trying to get that love and attention and the whole self-love and self-respect part from somebody else than trying to kind of inculcate within myself. And
Yeah.
what I've done is all my life tried to cling on to people to give me that attention or give me that
Hmm.
love, which I should have tried to find within myself. And
Hmm.
probably that's why um, it took me so long to kind of try and overcome whatever the challenges we are speaking of. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's the whole gist of it. Like I'm right now, like you said, I am trying to find out more about myself rather than finding people who can love me.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Right now, you're trying to find yourself who can love you, whom you can cling to, and you can
yeah,
find that love and attention and support
yeah.
from. The way you have explained all of this, Summer, it is so beautiful. Like I was able to connect with every thought of yours. You've explained it very beautifully, and I can actually feel that you are going through that process and you are actually moving towards it. Thank you so much. So, how did you recognize that this is something that you want to work on, or it's time that you should start working or finding love within?
So probably cause it was I was being too dependent on people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of hurting me more than making me happy. So my intention was to be more happy by clinging on to people or giving them. So I would sometimes give more than 100% attention to somebody because I think I love them so much, so I should do that for them. But not everybody is interested in that much attention, or they don't really want that space. It's actually more for myself. I think that I'm doing it for them, but it's more for myself. And I somewhere down the line, I realized that I'm doing too much and not getting anything in return. So there comes the whole spectrum of you expecting from people and then thinking, like, I deserve more, or do I deserve this, or all those kind of questions kind of creeped in,
Yeah.
which made me kind of, you could say, like unhappy. And I
Mm.
started to feel a bit more uh, unsettled in life. And then it just came to me one day that maybe I should stop doing this for others and stop trying to find it outside and try to see what I really want. Because sometimes what I would do is do anything. Take for example, probably go out to meet a few friends. So the trajectory goes as such. Like I'm sitting at home alone and I'm thinking there's nothing to do, what to do, and
Mm.
it's, say, Saturday. And I don't want to sit and watch other people's Instagram stories. So I go out, I try to find somebody to go out with, sneak in a snap somewhere in between, post a story, and that's it, sorted. That feels like a very happy weekend, but I if it's not really very happy because when I come back home, I go
Mm.
back to the same feeling. So yeah,
Yeah.
so these are the few things, like I expected too much from others, or I expected too much from myself, and
Yeah.
in the process I realized that I'm not really doing any good. So that's when I thought maybe I should try to take a step back, try to understand who I really am, what I really want,
Mm.
and probably do, give as much as I would expect, or not give so much that I would have to expect too much from somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Like there were points that you mentioned and I was getting goosebumps. I was like, wow, how is she doing this? And first of all, kudos to you, Sama, to come up on a space and share what you're
Yeah.
feeling, going through. It seems very personal and it just shows how courageous you are. And you have taken that step and you are willing to move towards it head on and like you're just like very sure this is what I want to do now. First of all, I'm so glad and I'm so grateful that you're sharing this with us right now. And what you said about taking a step back to understand what you really want and
Yeah.
what can you do in order to get that instead of just giving. to people, recognizing what is it that you really want for yourself and trying to give it to
Yeah.
yourself instead of other people. And
Yeah.
while you were talking, while you mentioned it, that is when I realized that it's true. Sometimes people don't want the kind of love and attention we are willing to give. We want
Yeah.
that, we want it for ourselves, and so we end up giving it to others. But it's not
Yeah.
necessary that is what we really want. That was like
True.
that that particular window has opened up for me right now, the way you said it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sama. So like you mentioned, you have taken a step back, you're trying to understand what you really want and you are working towards it, you're working towards self-love and peace. So what is it that you do? How are you doing these things?
I don't really do anything, to be
Yeah.
honest. I don't have like a you people have morning routines, or
Mhm.
they work out, or they do really weird stuff like painting, etc. Or I'm not gonna judge people, or it's too wrong to say that. But I don't really have a hobby or an interest that I can go to. I play badminton now and I do some yoga, and that's not because I have any intention behind it. Probably would be to be a bit more fit in life, but I never thought of it as something to do just to be happy. What
Mm.
I generally do is I actually do a lot of things now that I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
I do journal sometimes, like I do write. It's not, I don't do it religiously, like I want to, but I never can get back to it. But whenever I do, and that is something I'd like to speak about it a bit.
Yeah.
Previously my journal entries would be like, if you say 2 3 years back, it would be very negative, like
Mhm.
why is this happening to me, what have I done to deserve this kind of things in life,
Mm.
etc. But now what has happened is I kind of start a bit with the ranting, and it goes down to yeah, maybe I overreacted, or did I try to find my mistakes, and yeah, and then so that's why previously I would be very rude and very blunt about stuff and react immediately. But
Mm.
now, if I have that window, like especially if we are texting and somebody says something that is, pissed me off, I would not immediately reply. I
Mm.
would take some time and like probably reply in an hour or two, like, yeah, okay, what else? So
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of things I more or less I'm trying to be a bit more mindful about my behavior, trying
Mm.
to see if I can react any better or do anything else rather than just wait. So if I'm waiting for somebody to text me back, or if I'm anxious about a email or something if I've sent out
Yeah.
work or anything, I would not sit and just think about it. I would rather try to do something else. I don't always find anything to do, so maybe I cry. But that's also one of the things I do just to pass time. So yeah,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
hope
it
that
is.
answers your question.
It does. It does. So you started by saying that you don't do anything as such, but when you started reflecting, you realized you are
Yeah,
actually doing a lot of things. And while
yeah,
badminton and yoga is not really a hobby, but you're probably doing it just to stay fit. And since I know
yeah,
you for many, many years now, we've been school friends, I know you are very fond of badminton and you're excellent at it. So
yeah,
that's good that you started doing that again. Also,
yeah,
the point about journaling that you mentioned earlier, it was negative, and now you've moved towards like you've noticed that there is a positive shift and how
yeah,
you are moving. So that was beautiful because I think a lot of times what happens is when people start journaling, they also start wondering, "Kya fayda hai journaling ka? I'm writing everything and everything is being negative." But the way you have
yeah,
mentioned it, yes, it is earlier it was negative for you and now it is positive. So there a shift can take place, eventually take place, and it's more like a self-awareness process as well.
right,
Or, and then how you mentioned about not reacting and choosing to respond instead of reacting. Like earlier, you
yeah,
used to be the first instance that you had. now you just pause for a bit. You will probably reply later or whatever. You'll wait and then you'll
Yeah.
respond. And instead of just waiting for somebody else's text, you rather do something else in that moment or cry even, which is
Yeah.
beautiful. I think even I resort to crying sometimes because it just lets the emotion go. And at this
Yeah.
point, I would like to mention somebody had said that emotions, not somebody, I think I read it in a particular journal, that emotions come in like waves. So they're going to come in with a full
Yeah.
force and they're going to go back. And if you react in that moment, that is when things will go haywire. But if you let the
Right.
emotions come and go and then you respond to it, you will realize it was just, like people say, a phase. So it was, in fact, just a
Just
wave.
another wave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just another wave of emotion. This is beautiful,
Yeah.
Sama. Anything in particular you would like to tell our audience today? Like, and something from your journey that you feel that people must know, and that can be the changing factor in their life as well.
Um, I think the best way to go forward with any of your issues in life is to face it head on.
Mm,
Um, Many times I have tried to kind of think about things in a way ki, uh, let's be positive about it, or
mm,
let's be realistic about it. No, let's be positive about it, not realistic. And now I've tried to think about things like let's just be more realistic about it, because what it
mm.
was doing is kind of just pushing my sorrows deeper.
Yeah,
Um, like the things that I was really afraid about, I used to not show, or I used to try to pretend that I'm fine. And there came a time in my life where there was no option but to face them. And that's
mm,
when I realized that maybe I should have just done it way before. And
mm,
because when I actually faced it and accepted it was when I could see the way through. And
yeah,
I wouldn't say that today I am all fine or completely fine and I have no problems or issues in life, but definitely have come a very long way as to where I was before. And that's only because I accepted the things in my life. I accepted the issues I had, even though I have had people telling me to be positive or just forget about it and, just put it in a bundle, throw it away, all those kind of things that you hear people say, generally very against the whole, uh, the vibe that we have going on right now. Uh, and I think in some cases it's fine. Like if it's a very petty issue, like you
yeah,
just, like if you have a scratch and you're just assuming that you have a fracture and you're crying about it,
yeah,
you could say that it's not that bad, so just forget about it. But if
yeah,
it is an internal thing and you are feeling so strongly sad about something, how can you kind of put a lid on that? It will obviously pop out someday and it'll be much worse. There'll be bloodshed across the room.
yeah.
So the best way, again, I would like to conclude by saying that the best way to deal with your issues is to accept it head on and fight it with an intention to like not put a lid on it, but to kind of just throw the vessel away. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best way to deal with your problems or any problems is that you face them head on. And
Yeah.
instead of just putting a lid on it, when you face them head on, you are able to rectify things so that the vessel is thrown away completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love it. I love
I
how
know,
you
right? I'm brilliant. I'm brilliant with analogies. Yeah.
you are you are brilliant with it. I think you should start writing about these and eventually you will have your book ready.
No. Then I'll screw up. The moment I take it up as a task, I'll screw up. Yeah.
Hmm. I think that should be discussed. We will discuss it someday whenever you are
Yeah.
available to do that. Okay, so Sama, how are you feeling reflecting on your journey and sharing all that you have so far with us and here to the audience?
I was really nervous about the whole thing because it's kind of a personal space that I'm letting people into. And though I am a person who is very loud and I'm like, "Ki, I have this problem, I have that problem, you deal with it." When it actually came to speaking to someone, live about it, I was a bit nervous. But yeah, I feel really good because I don't like it's like at this moment I don't even care who has listened to me jabber on and on about what my problems are. But I feel that I have done my part by telling the world that I'm a fighter and I'm
Mhm.
really strong. So just you take care of yourself and you try to. Yeah, I guess that's it.
You're a fighter. Beautiful. You are a fighter, and people can deal with what they have to deal. But you are going
Yeah.
to fight your own battles and face them head on and throw the vessel away. I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing that now, along
You
with others.
should. Yeah.
So, Sama, what is that one thing where, let's begin where?
Um, I feel like I've covered that part with the take it head on. But if you still want me to say something else, I'll cook up something quickly. Um, yeah, I think you should just uh, find what the true idea of happiness for you is.
Hmm.
Uh, Maybe I can speak a bit from the tagline that you have given me, the extroverted introvert. So, just to wrap things up, I would like to say that I figured out what I truly am, maybe to a certain extent. That's when things changed. So, in a way, I found out what actually makes me happy. So there were a few choices I used to make in life that made me happy, but in a way, from afar, it looked like a short-term sad choice.
Hmm.
Say, getting along with somebody who you might not have a future with, you know, such kind of things. So previously, it would feel like something, why am I doing this? And people would, from an outer perspective, it would look like a short-term thing. Why deal with it? Kind of a situation. But it was more, I was happy at that point, and that's what matters, right? So today, again, if I'm doing something that I feel might not have any long-term gains, but it
Hmm.
has a lot of short-term gains because I'm extremely happy right now. So rather than kind of seeing what the world's perspective of happiness is, or what others perceive what happiness is, or what is right or wrong, I think we should just try to figure out shit for ourselves. What is happiness for yourself? What is good and bad for yourself? And
Hmm.
just do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that was so strong and so powerful. So instead of seeking and understanding what is happiness in general or for others, it
Yeah.
is important to realize what is happiness for you. What is your understanding of the word happiness? And then actively taking steps to inculcate that aspect in your life. And
Yeah.
like one of our viewers, Mohini says, small steps. Absolutely. That is
Yeah.
what steps are going to take is way ahead. And
She
go ahead, say that.
She's the one who makes me take all these small steps. She's one of the people in my life who I'm extremely grateful for. And again, previously it was the completely other way around. I could slap her every day.
Yeah.
But now that's what younger sisters are for, which you won't understand because you're the youngest. So
Yeah.
let's not digress here.
Yeah. So now you're very grateful for Mohini's existence in your life because she's the one who
Yeah,
helps you take the small steps every day.
right.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing that, Sama. Thank you so much. I'm going to reflect on this aspect as well. Okay. Lovely. And I loved one of the comments over here. Uh, just I didn't get that. Just a wee girl. Okay. Just a wee girl says you are evolving girl. How do you feel about
Oh,
that?
she's one of my friends from Glasgow.
Okay.
Hi.
Love you too, Mohini. Alright. Thank you so much for joining us, Sama. This was a wonderful, lovely session. I am learning a lot from you, and I'm pretty sure people out there who are also going through the similar journeys have taken up a lot from you because it requires a lot of courage, one, to come up over here and share things with people. Second, to actually take the time out to step back to realize because what I see is you are going on a process of self discovery and that
Hmm.
is bringing a lot of self awareness and that
Yeah.
is surely going to take you to self love and peace because I believe self acceptance as well like you mentioned acceptance
Yeah.
is the acceptance is definitely the key because when you accept, you get the control to move things the way you want to. So, thank you so much for sharing such valuable information with us and letting us in your personal space, Sama.
Not a problem. I was really
So,
happy to do this and very honored, of course, to be live. This is the first time ever.
how does it
Yeah.
feel live for the first time?
I feel like a celebrity, like a queen, like people are obviously voting for.
Honey, you already
Yeah,
are. I only remember
I
that
know.
word. The queen says. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Sama.
Okay,
Okay.
bye. Do we have anything else? I just said
Uh,
bye because I thought we are getting over with this.
would anyone like to ask Sama anything? Our viewers, would you like to ask Sama something?
Um,
I would like to ask until people do, only if you
yeah,
want to talk about it. So, like you
yeah.
mentioned, there was a point when you realized that you're giving a lot to people and probably people don't need it.
Hmm.
And you realized you are doing that for yourself because you need it. Mini asks, are you on meds? Okay. So like you said that it is what you do because you want it, so you're giving it out to people, and you realize
Yeah.
you need to take a step back and move towards a journey of self-acceptance. So when that shift was taking place, when you were all about people and being an extrovert to moving towards accepting that you're an introvert and moving towards the fact that, okay, I need to do these things for myself and not only give it to people. How did that shift feel? Was there something pulling you back, Sama, don't go there? Or was there a clear push, ki, yes, let's do this?
No, of course I feel that pull all the time, even now, because it is obviously out of my comfort zone, right? Because I have always been more comfortable with having somebody
Hmm.
to do the self-love part for me. That's what I'm used to. So now, if I am trying to get out of that and try to love myself, it is a bit difficult because it's not what I'm used to, of course, and it is for anybody that would be a challenge per se. But for somebody who has not been able to do that for most of her life, it is, of course, very overwhelming. And
Hmm.
I have seen a lot of falls in that domain, if you could say, because it's always about trying. It is not effortless happiness. It is
Hmm.
always that you have to put in some kind of effort to be happy.
Hmm.
Because if you are with somebody who is there to make you happy, and if they don't, you have somebody to blame. Like, you're
Yeah.
not doing your part, you're not making me happy anymore. But when you are trying to be happy with yourself, you have only yourself to blame, and that kind of is the tricky part. So yeah, to answer your question, I always have my doubts. I always have setbacks, but what matters the most is that uh, I'm not failing 100%, or
Hmm.
it's not that I have never been able, I'm completely unable to be happy with myself. There were times in my life where being alone just was impossible for me, because I would either just sit in a room with somebody just to have somebody there, or even if I'm not talking to anybody. But today I can kind of manage to do a lot of things by myself without thinking. I have these thoughts about why, uh, why there is nobody right now. Whom can I talk to? But moving that aside, I think I'm a lot better now. I can be by myself. So yeah,
Mm.
I tend to digress all the time. So you have to stop me, Tanya.
I didn't realize you were digressing. I thought you were very much on track throughout this
Then it's
session.
fine. Then it's fine. Yeah.
Because I
I
connected,
think there's a question.
yeah, there is a question. Um, One second, let the question go. So just a wee girl is asking you, what about people pleasing?
I think that is on my like the top item on my to-do list every day. I'm a big time people pleaser. You can see that with the background I've chosen because it's just another way of doing it. But yeah, ideally it is again because I think it comes with the whole aspect about finding love outside, which
Mhm.
causes you to please people and try to find that attention and love, etc. But I guess in a way, I don't think it's all bad because that way you kind of keep yourself in check. You try to do your best all the time. You try to be your best all the time. So I wouldn't say people pleasing is all wrong. And if you are, you don't need help. If we're fine, we're the best. That's why people get pleased anyway. So I guess I don't think we should look at it as a negative thing like I used to before. It's actually kind of really nice. It's a good thing that we tend to, but it should not be an obsessive thing, of course. It should not be, it should not lead to self-hate. If
Yeah,
nobody's, if you think that if you're trying to please somebody and if you don't get that attention, I think
mhm.
it's their fault or it's their mood of the day, not about you. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just while you were sharing, I realized even by being yourself, you will end up pleasing some people, and those people will be the right people.
Yeah, I guess,
Because
yeah.
you know, when we are focusing on people pleasing, we are looking at every aspect. Is that person okay? Is this person okay? Let me do this, let me do that. But do we really need to do that for those people? Are they the right people for us in our life right now? So if we are just being ourselves, if we are just being real, we will end up, obviously, like you mentioned, pleasing people, because people can get happy with anything and everything, but we will end up
Yeah,
pleasing people in the right way. And I completely agree
yeah.
with you. If people pleasing is done in the boundaries in the limited way, then it is not a bad thing. And she says it is like you don't want to hurt anyone. What would you like to say to that, Sama?
I don't really understand what you mean.
I
It's not.
think it is like you don't want to hurt anyone. So when I think what she means is she's people pleasing, or her understanding of people pleasing is that she takes those action or does a few things so that she's not hurting others. Her first thought before taking up any action is anyone getting hurt? And is that right? I guess. I'm not sure. Just a wee girl? Is
Shreya.
that Shreya?
She's
Okay.
Shreya, by the way.
It's
We
Shreya.
girl.
Okay. What would you like to say about that?
Um, I guess if talking about what you have interpreted, I think it's always good to be mindful about how we are treating other people. But eventually, I get hurt all the time. I know, so do I. But I guess that's only because, again, I think we are expecting too much out of people. And Tanya, you were correct. So, would you repeat what you said so that I can just continue from there?
Okay, so she's doing the actions, or making sure that her actions are not hurting other people. At every point, she's thinking, if I do
Hmm.
this, it's going to hurt others or not. So that is what people pleasing is for her.
Oh,
And she, like she mentioned,
okay.
she ends being hurt all the
Yeah,
time.
I think we all do that all the time because um, in a way it's all we are all really good people beneath. So we are always trying to think about others, if our actions are going to affect them or not. There are people who live without it, of course, and I think we see it as a good thing that some people don't care and they are very selfish about themselves. And I guess from afar to people like us it might look like a really good thing because we care a lot.
Mm.
And I think in a way we should just try to see it as we being the better kind of people out there. So even if you're getting hurt, I guess it is because I think it's only because we are over expecting. And it's whenever you're trying to please people, you're expecting that attention. So maybe just kind of what I would do is probably just not care anymore because if I'll try very hard in this to kind of get that kind of attention what we are speaking of purely has self motive behind it. But yeah, it is of course a burden. That's because you are inherently trying to do something and you're not getting the expected response, which is why it is feeling as a burden. But I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. I think Tanya should be the one who answers this, not me. I might not even have
Question
those answers, Shreya. Sorry.
I do have a question for Shreya here. From a coach's perspective, when you say you are pleasing people and you end up getting hurt all the time, and thanks to Sama, you are agreeing to the point of it is about expectations. I would like you to reflect and see when you're people pleasing, what is it that you're exactly doing? What is your reason behind making sure that people around you are okay? Why do you want to do that? Like, what are you getting out of it? You know, there is some internal factor that is driving you towards the aspect of people pleasing. It could be because of your values that you hold, not the values, the cultural values or the family values and things like that, but your personal value that is probably making you do this, or there is something else linked to it. Like Sama said, we are doing this because we want those things for ourselves. That is another reason for people pleasing. So try to reflect and try to understand or notice when you are people pleasing, what are you getting out of it or what are you expecting out of it? Because when you realize this aspect, when you realize what is at the core, you will be able to make the correct amendments and then take the right steps.
So on her final comment, I think I want to add something to that. So Shreya, if you remember, post-work drinks, what we had, like a few of those. When you were in a big group because you had joined in a lot sooner than I did. And I used to be somebody who would just finish my shift and go back home quickly. Uh, at some point, I have always thought of you as a person who is so jolly and so sweet that she has so many friends, picking her up and taking her around and chilling. So I think, Shreya, we can think of this as the grass is greener on the other side kind of philosophy because I really thought, whatever you're trying to say, I don't think you were trying to please anybody. Even with me, I think we just connected very quickly. We were just chilling and it was fine. I never thought of you as somebody who even has the need to kind of please someone. So you're absolutely fine, Shreya. I don't really think you have to worry about anything. So it's just a perspective, I guess. Yeah.
Let's hope she does not feel dismissed by this aspect. That yeah, because she might have an angle to feeling that she is a people pleaser or something. So that was a lovely, Sama. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I hope your question has been answered, Shreya. I will stop calling you just a wee girl. Because you're more than just a wee girl. Absolutely. Okay. Probably overthinking. Okay.
We all
Uh,
do. It's a trait. Yeah.
yeah. So this has been lovely. This has been wonderful, Sama. Thank you so much. And thank you so much Shreya, for interacting and asking your questions. It was again very brave of you to ask the questions and have it answered because not a lot of people would, willingly do that. So thank you so
Yeah,
much and keep the spirit going. I like it. And thank you so much, Sama, for joining us and answering the questions that were there. I am taking a lot
yeah.
from you, and I'm going to try to sum it all up in the reel that we're going to upload. Woohoo! It's a task.
Okay. Great. It
Thank you
was
so
really
much.
lovely to be here. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
See you soon. Bye. And if people who are here, if you would like to come and share your stories as well, if you feel that there is something that you can share and people can learn from it, please let us know. You can be one of the everyday game changers too. Sama today was our everyday game changer for our series of Let's Begin There. Let's begin, as Sama has mentioned, let's begin by, facing your problems head on and headstrong. So, what will your point B? Let's begin where. And if you have some interesting stories that you would like to come and share with us, please let us know in the comments. And that is all for now. Thank you so much, and have a lovely Saturday evening. Bye.